Wherever where you're watching our special broadcast on what lies ahead for India vis-a-vis its vaccine strategy. We have achieved more than 1 crore vaccinations, but the pace is slow. Whichever way you look at it, India has its task cut out when it comes to bringing in more players and inoculating a lot more people to achieve some amount of herd immunity. We discussed that threadbare up ahead on the show with Dr. Randeep Guleria and also our other experts on the show. I'm Sneha Moldani, and here is our special report. India, of course, has achieved the target of 1 crore vaccine doses, but how can the world's largest immunization drive pick pace further to ensure that they achieve the target of 30 crore vaccinations by the month of July? Take a look.
In terms of the South Africa variant, in India, the strain has been detected in 4 South Africa returnees in January 2021, 1 from Angola, 1 from Tanzania, and 2 from South Africa. All travelers and contacts have been tested and quarantined. Now, the Brazil variant of SARS-CoV-2, it is also known as 20J/501Y.V3, a single case of variant strain detected in Brazil returning in the first week of February 21. The traveler and contacts have been tested and quarantined.
The announcement of new variants. Once again, an unknown enemy knocking at our doors. Added to this, the pandemic surging in Maharashtra, with strict restrictions announced in at least 3 districts of the state. The picture is far from rosy. The COVID-19 pandemic is throwing up new challenges every single day. Vaccine watchers and medical experts say that effective vaccination is going to be one weapon in our arsenal to tide over this wave. But there has to be a mid-course correction. Experts have highlighted that at the current rate of vaccination, India will not be able to reach its aim of inoculating 30 crore people by July.
In the first month, we've administered just over 8 million doses. That's a deficit of 92 million doses. And that kind of a backlog will become insurmountable very quickly. The vast majority of India's healthcare apparatus is in the private sector, and we need to privatize a part of India's vaccine distribution while also making sure it's free for those who need it at the point of care. And if we do this, we can out-vaccinate the virus and its more transmissible variants. We need to take advantage of the fact that transmission is low right now. It's not necessarily going to stay low. And we need to vaccinate and immunize and protect the most vulnerable very, very quickly.
Union Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan has said India would vaccinate 1 crore healthcare workers, 2 crore frontline workers and 27 crore people above the age of 50 by July later this year. The government intends to launch CoWIN 2.0 also to open it up for beneficiaries, but problems with the CoWIN app remain. Experts say that till the time the problems are rectified, we must play on our strengths.
Any technology should be used only as a supplementary tool, not as the main source for doing something as massive as vaccination program here. India has great strengths in doing micro-planning, and our strength is our health workers doing this universal immunization program for last so many decades. I think it's important to use these strengths and use CoWIN as a tool to understand the logistic and distribution. So CoWIN should stay, but then the priority should be using our strengths of micro-planning and health workers.
What are the other areas of concern? And what can be done to ensure that more doses are given out and a large number of beneficiaries are inoculated sooner? Suggestions are that the government must consider giving doses 8 to 12 weeks apart instead of 28 days. The World Health Organization is also in favor of this. This eventually will help us cover more people. The other option is expanding high-risk group coverage, expand the number of vaccination sites and bring in the private sector.
Opening private sector is the need of the hour, and this will reduce the burden on government healthcare system. More people will be saved by vaccination, which will further increase the vaccine confidence.
How can India really then change the course of the pandemic?
One of the things we need to do is do away with the pre-authorization process. If walk-in sessions are made available and private sector is involved, we should be able to ramp up to 7 to 10 million doses per day. If we are able to do that, the vulnerable population, those who are elderly and those who have comorbidities, if we are able to cover them within the next 3 months, then India is in the right position to change the course of this pandemic forever.
The government is trying to roll out more vaccines to the people of the country in weeks and months to come. But right now, only one vaccine has got emergency use authorization. The second has got emergency use authorization in a clinical trial mode. The effort really is to deal with vaccine hesitancy and get more and more people come to the vaccination booths. But there are new problems every single day. There are new variants of the infection that have entered India already. Plus, there are areas that are seeing a surge all of a sudden of cases of COVID-19, and all of this is only adding to the problems. In New Delhi, with video journalist Mahesh, Sneha Moldani for India Today. And earlier I spoke with Dr. Randeep Guleria. He, of course, is the head of Delhi's All India Institute of Medical Sciences. Listening to what he had to say about India's vaccine strategy. I'm now going to welcome Dr. Randeep Guleria on the broadcast. He is the director of Delhi's All India Institute of Medical Sciences. He also has been looking at all the work that is being done in the country to deal with this infection, including vaccine hesitancy. He's a member of the National Task Force as well on vaccines. Dr. Guleria, thank you so much for your time here. First of all, tell us, how are you feeling? You've just taken the second dose of the vaccine as well. A lot of people are fearful. There is a lot of vaccine hesitancy. What do you have to tell them today?
So I've now taken the second dose of the vaccine also, and I'm perfectly fine. I'm working after having taken the second dose and really have no problem. So I would like to really tell everyone who is listening to the program that they need not be fearful. The vaccine is safe. They need not worry about it. And now people have taken the second dose, and we have a large number of individuals who have gone on to have the first and the second dose without any significant side effects. The data is there for everyone to see. And I think they should be reassured that the vaccines are safe and they are efficacious. They will help you. And this is the way forward if you want to get over this pandemic.
Yes, Dr. Guleria, we speak of many vaccines that are being developed in India along with, like Sputnik V, which is being developed along with the Gamaleya Institute, for example. But what about them being introduced in India? The process, I understand that science takes its own time, but look at the process. We actually, in effect, have only one vaccine that has got emergency use authorization. The other is still in the clinical trial mode. Is that a problem when it comes to doses? You need more options before you?
Yes, definitely. So there are two things that we really need to keep in mind. One is that we will obviously need much more doses when we start vaccinating our entire population, or at least 60 to 70% of the population. Remember, even if we are talking of phase 1, that is around 30 crore people, and that means we need 60 crore doses. So that is a huge number, and it is actually more than the population of many countries combined, and very few countries would have a population of more than 60 crores. So we are actually going to have to vaccinate countries, if I put it that way, rather than one country, if you start looking at the absolute numbers. So we definitely need more doses, but we also need to have data which suggests that these vaccines are safe and efficacious. And that is why we need to get that data before they get the authorization and the regulatory approvals for being rolled out in the country.
Yes.
Secondly, which I think is also important, we must understand that the virus is also evolving. We have variants coming in. So the newer vaccines will have to be developed in a manner that they are more effective and cover for the variants as they evolve, so that we have more and more effective vaccines as we go down looking at the second or the third generation vaccines in the coming months.
You mentioned the new variants, the South African, the Brazil variant, and of course the UK variant, the B.1.17 essentially. Which of our vaccines are acting against any of these variants? Do you have any data just yet?
So the ICMR had come out with data which has shown that especially the Covaxin was effective, and the data shown by UK suggested that also Covishield, which is the AstraZeneca, is effective against the UK strain. There are still data emerging and there is some debate as far as the African strain is concerned and AstraZeneca is concerned, but I think we need more data. What most of the studies do suggest is that some vaccines may lose a little bit of their efficacy against the new strains, but they may still be effective. Remember, we still have a buffer as far as the efficacy of the vaccine is concerned. And even if the efficacy comes down to some extent, they will still be effective. And therefore, I think we need to be sort of reassure everyone that the vaccines will still work with the new strains emerging. But as these strains evolve, science has to evolve to meet these challenges of getting better and better vaccines out there. And we may even have a time where we are looking at what we have for influenza. For influenza, because of different strains, we have a quadrivalent vaccine, a vaccine which covers 4 strains, 2 influenza A strain and 2 influenza B strain. It may be possible that we may have a bivalent or a trivalent or a quadrivalent vaccine which covers multiple strains of COVID-19 as we look at the different variants. And therefore, that may evolve as we look at newer generation vaccines in the coming months.
Dr. Guleria, I just want to quickly get a point from you because Maharashtra continues to be an area of concern right now. I just want to ask you, what's your overview of the situation as far as the country is concerned vis-a-vis the cases and specifically the 3 districts in Maharashtra?
So if you look at the country, we are still in a good position. Our cases are still down, although there's a slight increase in the overall number.
Okay.
Our case fatality is also low. But having said that, we cannot be complacent. We need to realize the situation can change anytime, and this has happened in many countries. And that is why 2 things that I keep stressing. One is that we need to really continue to follow COVID appropriate behavior. Many people have now started feeling that the pandemic is over in India. There's no need to have physical distancing. There's no need to wear a mask. Hand washing is not important. And we're seeing that in many states, and that is leading to the resurgence or increase in number of cases.
Okay.
Secondly,
including
is that we need to get more, including Maharashtra, and we need to get more and more people to come forward to get themselves vaccinated. As we move forward, we need to open up more vaccination centers, try and get a larger number of our population vaccinated so that there is some degree of immunity everyone has against the virus, whether it be the old strain or the new strain. That will also help in decreasing the number of cases in our country. And this window of opportunity that we have right now, we should not lose, because things can change anytime in the coming weeks.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Randeep Guleria, for your perspective on that important story. Things can change anytime really is the message there from the government. So we really can't let our guard down. So while India has given nod for 2 vaccines against COVID-19, that is Covishield and Covaxin, there are 4 other vaccines that are in the pipeline. The first one being Zydus Cadla's ZyCoV-D, which is being developed by this particular company called Zydus Cadla, based out of Ahmedabad. This is right now in the 3rd phase of trials. The other vaccine is Sputnik V, which has been developed by Russia. This vaccine is currently in the 3rd phase of trials in the country. Bridging studies essentially are underway. The other vaccine is a vaccine that is being developed by a company called Biological E. And this again is in the phase 1 trials. It's a Hyderabad-based company. And the 4th one, which of course is a promising India's own mRNA vaccine being developed by a Pune-based company called Genova Biopharmaceuticals. And Dr. Arvinder Singh Soin is joining us. He is of course a practicing doctor at Medanta Hospital. Thank you for your time. You of course have taken a dose of the vaccine yourself, and this at a time when there is fair amount of hesitancy surrounding the vaccine. Just tell us, how are you feeling after taking the vaccine?
Sneha, I think it's very creditable that from knowing almost nothing about COVID about a year ago, we've got 1 crore people vaccinated. So that's something to pat ourselves for. But we cannot rest easy because, after all, less than 1% of the country has got vaccinated. So if you look at it from the other side, because of our population, we haven't actually vaccinated enough people. Yes, I've had the first dose, and a lot of my colleagues have had the second dose. I'm actually waiting for my second dose. As soon as they call me for it, I'm going to have it. Because, you know, it should be very clear that you need both doses for protection. And it's only after 2 weeks of taking the second dose that you're actually protected. So I would say that, one, everybody that's offered the vaccine, that's the frontline workers, should go for it, both doses. And you should motivate your colleagues and friends, whoever are actually in line for it.
Yes,
but
Dr. Soin,
if we don't actually increase the rate of vaccination, it will take us 2 years to actually get to the 30 crore mark. the first lot of people that are supposed to get the vaccine. So we need to speed up, we need to ramp up the facility for administration of the vaccine, and people need to accept it.
Yes, it's a great milestone, 1 crore vaccinations, but look at what we were set to, what we were supposed to achieve, really. 30 crore people by July, and we're already in February, middle of February. What does it look like? Because we're really falling short of our target, isn't it? It's worrying that we're falling short of our target.
The utilization, I'm told, of the Covishield and Covaxin in India is just about 10 to 15%, which is a shame, really. Across the world, utilization rates vary from 10 to 40% in terms of the number of vaccines available and the number of people who are willing to actually have it. We need to step up the rate of vaccination for sure. We're not going to get anywhere near the 30 crore mark, like I said, for a couple of years unless we step up the rate of vaccination. What can I say? I think part of the problem is that people are not willing to actually take the vaccine. In my own hospital, I believe about a third of the people haven't had the vaccine, and I'll be honest. But still, 2/3 is much better than the national average. So I've been saying again and again, like all the other colleagues, that both the vaccines are safe. They're both immunogenic in the sense that after 2 doses, 90% chances are that you will develop good antibodies. And efficacy studies, of course, Moderna and Pfizer are ahead, and then Covishield, then Covaxin, because our infection rates are now currently low. It's difficult to get a readout on the infection rates after vaccination, but suffice it to say, because they are, immunogenic and safe, we should definitely go for them. I mean, is it better to actually wait to have COVID? You have to take the vaccination.
A lot is being said about why the government is not doing what it can really to open this up for the private sector to ensure that just more and more people come in, because a chunk of our healthcare services in the country, over 70%, is actually in the healthcare sector. So why not for vaccinations?
I completely agree with you. But I don't agree that the government is not doing enough. It's actually very difficult to be lauded for anything that you do in the pandemic. So I think that hats off to the government for what they have done. They've approved 2 vaccines, and they've made plans, and they've tested out initially, and now they've rolled out the plan. And they tried to give it free to, the first 30 crore or 3 crore people, I'm told. But now I think because the going is so slow, I agree that the standard distribution of healthcare across private and public for the rest of non-COVID stuff needs to also extend to the COVID vaccination, which means that they should be available commercially, and private institutions and in a regulated manner, the pharmacies should be able to sell it, and this should be administered under controlled conditions, but on payment for people who can afford it, people who want it. That's the only way to speed it up. That's one. Of course, the other is that people who are getting it free should be motivated to receive and not refuse vaccination.
Yes, the other bit here is that an institute like the Serum Institute of India, which has got just astounding manufacturing capacity. It's in fact, it manufactures the maximum amount of doses in the world, really. It's the largest vaccine manufacturing company in the world in that sense. It has enough doses, but there are less takers. There is a concern even within the Serum Institute that we can give you more, but you're not using this well enough. So even if the government is just looking at its own vaccination sites and wants to handhold every single thing that is being done, at least for the time being, should there not be many more vaccination sites? Should the attempt really not be to rely so much on the COVID app, for example, rely on the healthcare workers or our professionals, for example? Should the government be looking at solutions of this nature now?
Well, I think to be fair, Sneha, even the capacity that is available currently is not being fully utilized. So although I agree that to step up the vaccination drive, you need to have more vaccination centers, both public and private, within COVID and outside of COVID, because there is a system outside of the COVID in any case for general healthcare. So yes, that can be utilized, but current capacity is still underutilized. So people need to be motivated to agree to get the vaccination. And then, yes, the number of vaccination centers need to increase. And then we need to cover the nation as soon as we can, at least 40-50% of it.
Dr. Harvinder Singh Soin, thank you so much for joining us. Well, India has hit the 10 million mark in vaccinations. After the healthcare workers and frontline workers, the moment to vaccinate those 50 years of age and plus category is just nearing. The government says it's ready and will soon launch CoWIN 2.0. So how different is it going to be from the present form of this app? Let's take a look at this report by Milind Sharma.
If you are above 50 years of age and are eligible to get the COVID-19 vaccine jab, CoWIN 2.0 will be your one-stop solution. The app's latest version is GPS enabled. The app will log details of only eligible beneficiaries. That's the 27 crore population whose data is being collected through electoral rolls by the state governments. Here is how it works. After logging on the app, beneficiaries can pick the nearest vaccination site. They can see whether it is public or private hospital and choose the date of vaccination. They can also update their age on the app. CoWIN 2.0 will enable the district magistrate to pull out the electoral roll data to cross-check the beneficiary's claim. Arogya Setu and helpline numbers will also be used for self-registrations.
So it's a question of architecting the system in such a manner that it can take a large load. So that you should not be concerned about. What is obviously more challenging is managing the logistics of this entire operation. Fortunately, the entire country is ready. The country's health infrastructure is ready to support this venture, and they are doing that.
Well, the government is ready with CoWIN 2.0. To make it a hassle-free experience, the state governments will also need to improve the number of vaccination sites so that anyone registering on the app can go to the nearest location to get the jab. Now, whether or not the private sector will be involved to expand the number of vaccination sites is yet to be decided. Milind Sharma for India Today.
Well, that brings us to the end of our special show on COVID-19 and India's vaccination drive. You can catch the entire episode on our website, indiatoday.in as well. Thank you for watching.
Hi everyone, Preeti Chaudhary here. Hope you like this video. For latest news and analysis, like and subscribe to the India Today YouTube channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you for watching.